Good morning. Um, so this is the video that I mentioned briefly in a previous video about television and children. So what I want to share with you guys is my perspective on how I look at TV and how I was able to break the bad habit of watching TV, how and why. Uh, So, a lot of things that I'm doing and or have done with my perspective have helped me uh, readjust my life, restructure myself, and I'm doing that on many different levels. If anybody, has any questions as it pertains to how I'm working on specific areas, if I haven't touched on them yet, please ask, and I'll try to provide as much clarification as I can. But the point of all this is to help us break these bad habits, these things that keep us from ourselves. So let's just dive right into it. Uh, so it occurred to me fairly recently that my parents, my mother and my father, uh, how they weren't that present in my life. When I started thinking about like how and why I made a lot of the bad decisions that I made and went down a lot of the roads that I went down, I started going backwards, and when I went backwards in my mind to try to figure out how and why, uh, what I found was that my mother and my father, as far back as I can remember, and I mean as far back as I can remember, when my father came home from work, he would take a shower, come out, get his plate, dinner, go in his room. He would eat alone. Uh, he would eat in isolation, away from his family, away from his wife, away from his kids. And when he was done, he'd bring out his plate and he went back in the room and he watched TV the rest of his night. That was it. Now, that's what I remember pretty much every day. Every day, okay? My mom, she was a stay-at-home mother, and for the most part, she'd keep the house up. I remember that when I was younger. But in her free time, when she wasn't busy with the house or whatever, she too was watching TV. So as I started picking all this stuff apart, excuse me, as I started to pick this stuff apart, I started to understand, or I started to see that, where were my parents? Where was my mom and my dad when I made that choice, when I made that bad decision, when I was around this person, when I was doing this or that? And it started occurring to me that they were always watching TV. A few years ago, in one of the tougher parts of my life, I spent a lot of time sitting around, laying around, watching TV, and or doing drugs, and or committing crimes. I don't know. It was a bunch of really bad negative stuff. When I look back on that area of my life, it's filled with negativity, and just chaos. And uh, so today I make it a point, as I've shared in previous videos, this video, my perspective is my best friend today, man. And I've got to flex my perspective. I got to be like a perspective ninja. I love it. But anyways, like, I look at television, man, as something that kidnapped my parents from me. You know what I mean? It took my mom and my dad away from me, and I don't want to try to get off in any of those crazy conspiracy theories and ramble on some tangent, but like, then I had to start asking myself, what and why? anyone want to do that, you know, before they would do other things like spend time with their kids or their family, or take better care of themselves. And depression, all those things, they're not an excuse, they're not a reason. So, I mean, it can be part of it, but at the end of the day, we all have a choice. We have a choice. We have options. We've got options. Whether or not we're aware of those options, that's usually, the issue, So anyways, today I have to look at television as something that stole my parents from me, It makes it real easy for me to stay the hell away from it. And, you know, when I think about how I haven't been the best of father, I haven't been a good father at all. I was there a little bit here and there in between incarceration, when I was in jail this time or that time. And that's when he was young. I don't even know if he remembers. I doubt that he remembers. So, he and I, we don't have very much of a relationship, and he's 14 now. He's a young man. And, there's a lot of reluctance on his part to even open up to me because I haven't been consistent. I've never been consistent. I've always been doing drugs, partying, hanging out, watching TV. I was doing everything except taking care of my kid. You know what I'm saying? Today, now that I understand all this, I can understand the chaos and I can see it so clearly. I see it in the lives of, if not all, most of my family members. And I talk their ears off, man. I drive them crazy because I don't shut up and I don't talk about anything else. Like I'm gonna keep talking to them about these things that I got going through my head and how I'm seeing it and how shifting my perspective is helping me change my life, and how I've got these goals and dreams now and these things that I'm working towards, and how things are coming together, and I'm thinking, man, look at all these people in the world, these people that you see doing awesome things, right? Guess what? As I started really thinking about, I was telling my uncle this morning. There were these kids me and my brother hung out with when we were kids. And I'd go to their house, and when we'd go inside and walk through the living room and go to their room, their mom, I'm assuming it was their mom, she'd be laying around the house in her underwear, a bra, panties or whatever, and for the most part she was exposed, and whether she was on the couch or her bed with the door wide open, it didn't matter. She was just laying around like a lump on a log. And she wasn't interacting with her children at all. She was just laying around watching TV. I know how these kids lived. I know how I lived. I know how the kids in my neighborhood lived. They were out there with me doing the same stuff. And there isn't a doubt in my mind, not even the slightest doubt, that their parents were right inside, sitting there watching TV, not a care in the world, not a care in the world. Anyways, so I got to make this stuff known. I got to put it out there. I have to share my perspective with all of you guys because I'm inclined to think that some of you guys are going to say, what the fuck? Pardon my language. But you know what I'm saying? It's going to occur to you, dang, that's me. Where were my parents when I made all those bad choices, when I was doing this, that, or the other? And then when it occurs to you that they were watching TV, it's gonna blow your mind. You're gonna be like, man, that's crazy. And then when we start to realize, but man, what was I doing? What have I been doing? Yeah, we've been doing the same stuff that we've been shown, Today I understand that I am easily influenced by any and everything that I see. Why has symbolism been around since the beginning of time? It's to put images in our mind and give us stuff to think about, And some smart guy, some really crappy people decided to put a bunch of these images and crap on a television, put it in everybody's home. So, for them to see different things and whatever, it's right there. They don't ever have to get up. They don't have to go outside. They don't have to worry about their kids. They don't have to worry about their family. They don't have to worry about anything. Because when you're stressed out and you're sad and you're alone, what do? You go to the TV, you turn it on, and you disconnect. You watch a show, you watch something that you enjoy, and you forget. You let it go, temporarily. And in the morning when you wake up, it might be right there on the tip of your brain. You're like, damn, man, I didn't want to think about that first thing in the morning. I don't know, do you have a job? Are you just gonna go out in the living room with a bowl of cereal and sit in front of the couch and turn the TV back on? Maybe. I want to be a good father to my son today. And I was telling my brother I want to see him be a good father to his daughter. As of right now, he's not doing as good as he could be. But you can bet I'm on him. See, I understand today that my mom and my father, because of some mistakes that were made, I gotta say it like this, and it's not an attack on my mom. Believe me when I say I'm not mad. I am not mad at all. I'm not mad at her or my father. He's passed away now. I'm not mad at him. See, I understand. I clearly understand that they too were conditioned. They were conditioned to think that what they were doing was all right. Society and the world showed them that it was all right. And because they told themselves that it was all right, it became all right. It's how our minds work, man. Mind over matter. We got control. How we see it is how it is. And if we look at something like, it's not that big of a deal, then it's not that big of a deal. And if we decide to say, you know what, this is a real big deal, man, I am not gonna do this, then it's a big deal. It's up to us. It's our perspective. So today, I've got to be accountable for what comes in. Well, I can't control what comes in, but I got to control which way it goes, I can't let things make me sad or keep me down. Whatever comes in, I've got to use it to motivate me and push me forward. Because I've got family. I've got family that needs me. I've got a brother that really needs me. I've got a son and a niece that really need me. I've got cousins. I've got young women that are my cousins, second cousins, third cousins that are in their teens, and the stuff that I see them posting on Facebook and Instagram, it terrifies me, man. It terrifies me. I know what I was doing when I was that age, and I was a little piece of shit. Pardon my language, but I'm being honest with you. I was not a good kid. I was not a good kid. I was lying to girls. I was saying and doing anything I could to get exactly what I wanted from them, and I got it pretty often, I was very, man, all I know is I'm really concerned, and when I step outside of the situation and I look at each of my family members, up here in my perspective, I can see that the young ones that are struggling, in my mind, I can see them struggling. I can see the things they're going through, and what they're posting, what they're sharing, shows me exactly where they're at, and exactly what they're worried about. And then, when I can see that their parents aren't that concerned. You see, their parents are watching TV. They're watching TV. Like, our kids are out here ready to put themselves out there, and we're watching TV. We're watching TV. So it's really not cool today. See, television, I have a healthy respect for it because I understand how powerful it is. I understand that it works its way into the minds, the homes, the lives of everyone. And we think it's all right. We think it's not a big deal, a lot of people are sitting in the other room. You're in a room, maybe. No, you're definitely somewhere in your house, wherever it is you live. But you're probably alone. You're isolating, watching whatever you watch. Your significant other, they're watching what they watch. The kids are playing video games or doing God knows what, but you're not even sure because you're busy watching TV. Man. So I'm gonna make a big deal about this TV thing. I'm gonna share it with the world. I'm gonna share my perspective with the world. I'm gonna share how I shift things around to not only help my family, to help my son, to help others, And now I want to try to help the world. Why not give it to everybody? Give it away. Give it away. I figured it out. God bless me. I'm going to do everything I can to give it to any and everyone that wants it, you know. Anyways, I love all of you. As I say in every video, man, please do everything you can to learn about water, man. Figure out what's going on out there. Figure out what's going on with your water, you know. And, you know, the water we put into our bodies, the water we put on our bodies, it's real important. It's really important. And as we start to understand better the depth of water and the different things that we put into our body, not just literally in, but what you're watching on TV, that's input. That's input. You're putting stuff in. So that means that input, everything you see on TV, it affects you, you know? That's why you're worried about fashion and whether or not this and that with your weight, you know, everything that you think, it's not even yours. It's not even your own thought. It's not. It's not. You're conditioned. You've been conditioned. You know, everything you know, everything you think, likely revolves around that television. It's been fed to you. It's been fed to you. That's how I look at it. Everything that I've thought most of my life is likely, often it's stuff that I saw in that frickin' box, man. But anyways, I don't want to hold you guys hostage. It's an incredible day today. And I gotta go. That's my uncle. We got work to do. God bless. Talk to you guys soon.